7 marketing lessons learned from billion-dollar companies that you've never heard of. You've heard of TikTok. TikTok's one of the biggest companies in the world. It's owned by ByteDance, which does over $58 billion in revenue. You've heard of Facebook, Google, Apple, even Amazon. They're all multi-billion-dollar companies, and some of them are even worth over $1 trillion. But have you heard of Danaher? Probably not, but they generate over $29 billion a year in revenue. Have you heard of Fortive? They generate $7 billion in revenue each year. Have you heard of Ceridian? They generate over $1 billion in revenue. Look, there are a lot of companies that generate over $1 billion a year in revenue, and you've never heard of them. Companies don't have to be as well known as Nike to be successful. So let's go over some marketing lessons learned from these multi-billion revenue generating companies that you've never heard of. Number 1, it's easier to market multiple products than it is to market one product. See, big companies have multiple products because it's hard to generate all that revenue from just selling one thing. Now, a common example that you're very familiar with is Apple. Apple has laptops, computers, phones, iPads, headphones, the list goes on and on. Similar to how it's easier to generate more revenue by selling multiple things, the same goes with marketing. There are only so much search volume for terms like laptops. But if you combine that with the phone market or headphones and other things, it opens up more marketing opportunities. Now, if you look at companies like Fortive or Danaher or even Ceridian, they have multiple products, which makes it easier to add more revenue, and it makes it easier in the marketing as well. 2, it's easier to market in existing big market. Have you heard of the word TAM? It stands for Total Addressable Market. For example, almost everyone in this world has a phone, or at least in America. According to PEW research, 97% of Americans have some type of mobile phone. So it's easier to market mobile phones because everyone has one or needs one or will want one. On the flip side, if you were selling SEO tools like me, like I sell Uber Suggest, there are only so many customers for it, not as many as people who want cell phones. So make sure you're selling products and services that a lot of companies and people need. It makes it that much easier to market as there'll be more people to market to, which creates more volume. 3, the best marketing is word of mouth. It doesn't matter how much money you have to spend on marketing, nothing beats word of mouth. The only way to get that is to either create amazing products or services. Just for comparison, when you look at historical data, according to Statista, when Ford spent $4.1 billion on global advertising, Apple only spent $1.8 billion. In essence, Apple spent less than half of what Ford spent, yet Apple is 46 times roughly bigger in size because people love their products and really evangelize them. And if you look at Fortive and Danaher and Ceridian is a great example of this. People love Ceridian's payroll because you can actually get paid out daily as an employee. That creates that virality. Why? Because people love Ceridian's product. Number 4, ugly is sexy. Everyone wants to create a cool company like selling iPads. But who wants to create a payroll software company like Ceridian? But it's a huge market because everyone needs to get paid. Whether you live in America or India or Brazil, it doesn't matter what country. When you work for someone, you need to get paid. Or Danaher, they have a water treatment company called ChemTreat. May not sound sexy, but hey, we all need water. A lot of the biggest companies out there solve big problems that are ugly and necessary. And those companies are easier to market because it's less competitive. 5, the United States isn't the center of the world. Yes, I live in America, and I've lived in other countries as well. And I'm not here to say one country is better than another. That's for a different debate, and that's up for you to decide. But here's the thing. When you're marketing, if you look at all these multi-billion-dollar companies, especially the ones that I mentioned, they're global. You don't want to create a company that's just going after the US or just going after China or India or Brazil. You need to ideally create a global company because it gives you more people to target, which makes it easier on your marketing. So take your marketing global. 6, your marketing is only as good as your team. It doesn't matter what you're selling or how good you are. Marketing is a team effort. You need amazing people on your team who have done it before to do well. Look for people on LinkedIn who have worked for your competition and been promoted multiple times, as the chances are, if they've been promoted multiple times, that company found them to be good. And if you hire them and they're a good cultural fit and you think they can do well for you, the chances are they'll have a higher chance of success compared to someone else who hasn't worked for a competitor and hasn't been promoted within their job, because it usually means people don't find them as valuable. Number 7, you have to build a brand to do well in the long run. All big companies work on building a brand. For example, in the United States, around 3 times more people search for Danaher than water treatment. You build a brand by not only building a good product or service, but by also being in a business for many, many years, ideally 10 plus. So you need to be patient. So what other marketing lessons have you learned from multi-billion-dollar companies? If you need help marketing your company, especially if you're in an ugly industry, check out my ad agency, NP Digital, where we help all types of companies grow their traffic and sales from the web. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it, tell people about it, and have a wonderful day.